Word up, everybody! Welcome to Word of the Day with Comedians. I'm your host, Dennis Maller, and on our show today is comedian and producer, and I guess comedy club owner, because it's his space and they let him do whatever they want, even though he doesn't own the building, Michael Furr. What's going on, Mike?
That's right. Like most owners of something, I just do all the work, but I don't get most of the money.
All right. So I feel our word of the day is appropriate for you because I would use this word to describe you as a comedian and your comedy, but also I'm relatively sure I don't think you're a comic book fan, correct?
Oh, I'm a huge comic book fan.
Oh, are you? All right, then you're going to...
Oh, yeah.
I was saving this word for somebody who wasn't a comic book fan because our word of the day is juggernaut.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't... Every comic book fan knows the word, and I just didn't want us to spend 20 minutes talking about our favorite juggernaut moments from X-Men comics.
I mean, are we going to talk about when he was in Excalibur and, you know, when he, like, hooked up with Dazzler? I mean, what are we going to talk about Colossus being a juggernaut for a while because he got the Crimson Bands of Sidorak? Yes, I'm a comic book fan.
I'm so glad that during the run where he was dating Dazzler, they never used the sentence that the juggernaut is pounding through, so...
Well, I'm just glad that during that run of Excalibur, we learned that Dazzler can reincarnate, that she can come back to life if she dies, which is good because he definitely killed her by to death because he's 12 feet tall, and I would assume everything is to proportion, and she is just a regular-sized human woman.
So the word juggernaut means it is a massive force, a campaign, movement, or an object that crushes whatever is in its path.
Yes, please. I'll take 3.
And in the case that we're talking about, it is crushing that that is in its path.
Well, you know, I mean, I did have Chipotle last night, so I probably shouldn't, but okay.
All right. And this is one of the things I love doing on the show is finding interesting facts. And Merriam-Webster has a excellent Did You Know section about words. And our Merriam-Webster, not a sponsor, Did You Know about the word juggernaut is, in the early 14th century, Franciscan missionary Friar Odoric brought to Europe the story of an enormous carriage that carried an image of the Hindu god Vishnu, by the way, whose title was Jagannath. I hope... by the way, I'm not going to get any word pronunciations correct on any episode of the podcast, so feel free to tell me in the comments how bad my pronunciations are. Literally, Jagannath is literally the Lord of the world. So they would carry this giant image of Vishnu through the streets of India in religious processions. Odoric reported that some worshippers deliberately allowed themselves to be crushed beneath the vehicle's wheels as a sacrifice to Vishnu. That story was likely an exaggeration or a misinterpretation of actual events, but it spread through Europe. The tale caught the imagination of English listeners, and they began using juggernaut to refer to any massive vehicle, such as a steam locomotive, and to any other enormous entity with powerful crushing capabilities. I love the etymology of words, and this is my favorite creation so far.
Also, that definitely happened because think about how many people would throw themselves in front of a parade float if it had a Donald Trump on it. They'd be like, oh yeah, slay me MAGA daddy, and just like lay down in the street. If Joe Rogan was driving a tank down the street, they would just lay down in the street like, oh, run me over so I don't have to get a vaccine. Like, no, that definitely happened.
I watch news radio every night.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't believe in science. Juggernauts can't kill me. Like, okay, sure. Yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah. No, I was flabbergasted by, like, look, you can worship and love him and do whatever. It was the women who made shirts that said, "You can grab my pussy anytime." I'm like, that. Ow, why? What?
Yeah, like, there is, like, you know, it'd almost be one thing if they were like, well, if he did assault somebody, I'm okay with that because I like him that much. But you don't have to say, like, he could assault me all he wants, baby. Like, that's not the correct response to that. Just like people who were, like, screaming, I love you at his rallies. You're like, you know, you're not supposed to love the president. He's a civil servant. Like, literally, you're not supposed to be like, I love this guy. He's my favorite celebrity. Like, that's not correct.
I love this civil servant, but I don't love my actual servants.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And also, I hate civility. Yeah, so like,
Yeah, the amount of people that like I can understand, I can get behind the mindset. I'm not gonna say I think this is valid, but I can get behind the mindset of people who are like, oh, that victim is just making this up for attention or money, all this.
Yeah.
I get that, but I don't get, hey, I want to be your next victim. That's not how any of this works.
I know they're like, victims get so much attention. Look at everybody giving them all of their love and respect because their life was ruined. I want some of that attention. It's like, okay, wow.
Awesome. Okay, so let's begin creating our sentence, juggernaut sentence, using it in context. And I'm almost afraid that I feel like we already used the contents and sentence we created earlier when we were talking about juggernaut and dazzler.
Yeah.
So every sentence needs to have a subject. There needs to be a person that this sentence is about. So who is a person that we can use in this sentence? Let's think of somebody. Who is somebody... What is the name of a stereotypical person who is just crushing things, that will bowl through anything?
Okay, well, probably a lot of people in sports, but I don't know any of their names. So we're going to have to pass that.
Fake names.
Yeah.
We can use fake name or fake people. They don't have to be a real person.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like if I wanted to talk about a sports person, it would just sound like Tecmo Bowl when they, like, tried to, like, randomly generate, like, American-sounding names. I'd be like, Bobby McIreland, who plays for the Baltimore Crabs, you know, like, I don't know.
What is the name of a sport? What is a stereotypical name of somebody who would be a sportscaster?
Oh, it's got to have like it's got to have fun, either like alliteration or like rhyming. It needs to be like Dan Nanderman or something. Like, I think that's like a good, like, back to you, Dan Manderman, you know, like that's, you have to have a good name, and you also have to look very good in a check suit. That is very important in football, is to like wear lots of power clashing patterns.
Okay, so we will use that Dan Manderman, which
I love that.
Definitely sounds like somebody who is very manly, but in the most sissiest way possible.
Exactly. Like, he wears like giant rings because they have sports significance, and I'm like, hey, Liberace, what's up?
He wears giant rings, but also drinks mimosas.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like maybe in this day and age, maybe we should use Juggernaut towards like TikTok stars.
Yeah.
Like, could sportscaster Dan Manderman be talking about the Juggernaut, the dance wave that's sweeping the nation on TikTok, and how this performer is a juggernaut on TikTok? Maybe.
Yeah, because I can hear him tweeting, and it just all sounds like him commentating, where he's just like. He's going for the floss, and he's a juggernaut of a TikTok dancer. Oh, he's throwing a piece of cheese at a baby. Oh, he barked at his dog, and then see how it reacted. What a legend, folks.
All right. I think we're on a good path here for it.
Mm-hmm. But what's the TikToker's name? Because TikTokers also have very specific names.
Yes, I don't think TikToker, much like YouTubers, don't use their real names. They just use their handles. So the name's got to have at in it, and it's got to have so the TikToker's name's got to have at.
Yeah, and also like part sexy, but also part like, oh, I'm a bit dork. So it has to be like, you know, everybody on TikTok is like, oh, I'm just a dumb, sexy baby. And you're like, oh.
At Sexy Slytherin 69420.
Yeah, exactly. Which I'm sure that handle is already taken. I'm sure.
All right, everybody, we have chosen our word of the day, we have defined it, and we have created a sentence using that word in context. And to give you all that is my guest, Michael Furr.
That's right. Our word of the day is lowercase j, juggernaut. That's right. The noun, not the name. That's right. And the definition of a juggernaut is a massive force, campaign, movement, or object that crushes whatever is in its path. And the sentence we feel best represents really what a juggernaut means today is, the Cinderella story of sexy Slytherin 420_69 getting 1 million views for floss dancing solidifies them as a TikTok juggernaut in the Hall of Fame. or so says sportscaster Dan Manderman.
Perfect. And I love that you went right into sportscaster and new announcer voice when you read the sentence. That is absolutely perfect.
My dream job is game show host. That's my dream ultimate job.
All right, everybody, we have officially expanded our vocabulary by one more word today. I want to thank my special guest, Michael Furr, and please, Michael, tell everyone where they can find you.
Well, you can find me on all forms of social media at Michael C. Furr with 2 R's. You can also go to allmylinks.com/Michael Furr with 2 R's. But also, I'm the creative director and booking manager for the Lou Costello Room Comedy Club, which is a comedy club in Baltimore's Hamden neighborhood. We do comedy shows every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night with open mics after every show. I have a hilarious comedy special called Straight Acting that you can view on anywhere they stream hilarious comedy videos or albums. And my new comedy special, I Didn't Die, will be coming out very soon on all of those same streaming services. You can watch it on Amazon Prime Video, listen to it anywhere you can stream music or comedy. And also, I have a hilarious podcast called Thwarp, a podcast for big fans, where myself and my fellow LGBT comedian Jake Lazier fangirl out about everything we're big fans of, from movies to TV to video games and so much more, as long as it's gay.
Awesome. I love podcasts about positivity because we are too negative on everything else on stage, so we need happy moments as well. Thank you for being on there. Of course, everybody check out the links in the description of this episode. Thank you for being here, and remember to word up.